So people often ask us what Coffin Club is. Coffin Club is a safe place where people can come and talk about dying and death, and also plan their perfect send-off. So they get a funeral wish list that they work their way through. There are industry experts who come along and talk, funeral directors, end-of-life doulas, the manager of our local crematorium and cemetery, for example. And our clubbers work through a wish list and plan and cost their perfect send-off. And they do that before they're at a point of bereavement, because at a point of bereavement, very difficult to think creatively and ask difficult questions. And so the likelihood is that you will very easily be channeled into doing things the way they've always been done.
People come to Coffin Club for all different reasons, but it's basically to educate themselves about all the choices that they have around their end-of-life celebration, so they can cost, plan, write down their wishes for their family, so that once they die, that it's all written down and the family doesn't need to worry.
We thought people would initially be all very elderly, perhaps about to, be thinking about that last part of their life. We do get a majority of elderly people, don't we? But we do get some young people. We quite often get kind of middle age where they've just had a funeral for their mum or their dad, and they found it somewhat lacking, and they don't want to put their kids through that experience, so they decide to come and sort out their own funeral plans. We also usually get one person who probably is terminally ill, so they really are, facing the final thing.
We don't do death very well in this country. We're all very stiff upper lip, don't talk about it. Well, let me tell you, we are all going to die. So we need to plan, cost and educate ourselves on all of the different choices that we have around our celebration of life and funerals. And that's what's so great about Coffin Club, is that it gives people a safe space, they relax, they can normalise the talking of death and dying. It's normal, we can talk about it. And whilst they're doing that, they can then write down exactly what they want for their end of life celebration, so that it's there down in writing for their families, and then they can get on with living.
We've got a classic example of that, haven't we? Sheila, who she had her 75th birthday, and she basically said she went into a complete tailspin. She started panicking, thinking, I'm going to die because I'm 75 and I haven't got anything in place and I haven't talked to my kids about it. So she came to Coffin Club, she decorated her coffin, she talked to her grown-up children. In fact, her son came and helped her, didn't he? And she basically said, because it was all sorted, she didn't need to think about it anymore. She was going to get on with living, and she didn't even think about dying anymore, did she? She just laid it to rest.
It opens up conversations, so that your nan could then go to the grandchildren and say, guess what I did this week? I went to Coffin Club. And then it opens up discussion. It normalises it, so that you can have these difficult conversations with a bit of humour. So it actually it ripples out, doesn't it? And everybody
really
starts
does.
talking about it. What we were so surprised at with running our Coffin Club in Hastings is just how much information people don't know. They don't think about dying and death. They think if they think about it, then they're going to die. It's really strange. People actually think that it's the law to use a funeral director. I mean, they know nothing. So once they come to a Coffin Club, within the first 5 minutes, their mind is blown when they find out all this information, and you watch them go through their journey, planning and costing their perfect send-off, and perhaps it was something completely different from what they first wanted, or perhaps it is the 20 minutes up the crematorium, which is fine, as long as they know all the other options that are available to them, and they still want the 20 minutes up the crematorium, then that's our job is done.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is all about choice. It's about making an informed decision rather than just being channeled into doing something because you don't know all the options available to you. The point of Coffin Club, what actually underpins it, is it's about empowering people. It's about giving them ownership of their end of life celebration. I don't think we can stress enough how important we think that is, just in general, but also as part of the grieving process. When you're bereaved, it's really difficult to think creatively or ask difficult questions. And so Coffin Club gets you hopefully ahead of that time at a point where you are able to do that. And it's just really empowering and absolutely marvellous.
Coffin Club started with Coffin Club Hastings, and since then we've got 10 Coffin Clubs all over the country.
Coffin Club is actually a social franchise with lots of clubs now around the country. People come along and they do our masterclass training and they learn how to set up and run a Coffin Club in their area. We're absolutely thrilled, aren't we, with all our affiliate clubs around the country. We're so proud of them and we're so proud to have them as part of the Coffin Club family. And the more Coffin Clubs there are, the more people we reach and the more people know about all the choices available to them.
Viva la funeral revolution!